So here we are talking about list, right? I said how to implement stack using list. Now this is creating copy of the list. So you can create a copy of the list by using copy method. You can create a copy of the list by using copy method of list. You can create a copy of the list by using copy method of list. Okay. So there are two types of copies out there. One is a shallow copy and one more is what? Deep copy. So there are two types of copies out there. One is shallow copy and there's one more which is called as a deep copy. So what a shallow copy is, now just try to understand these differences between the deep copy and one more is what? Shallow copy. So just try to understand the differences between deep copy and shallow copy. So here this is called as a shallow copy. So what is shallow copy is? Now the shallow copy is called as a reference copy. Okay, shallow copy is called a reference copy. I said it is called as a reference copy. Okay, which create a list, which create a new list by copying address or reference of objects, by copying address or reference of objects. Shallow copy is called a reference copy, which create a new list by copying address or reference of which one? Objects. In shallow copy, if there is changes, if there is a changes in list, that changes reflect to what here? Another list, copy of the list. Okay, so if the objects are mutable, if you do changes in one list, that changes will reflect toward another list. But in shallow copy, what will happen is it will try to create a new list by copying the address or reference of what? Objects. In shallow copy, if there is changes in list, the changes will reflect toward another list. So this another list is nothing but a copy of the list. This another list is called as a copy of the list. For example, I created one list. So there is a list 1. Okay, so I'll try to say list 1. List 1 equal to 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So the list 1 is having how many objects here? 5 objects. That is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So what will happen here is, so this is a list which is having the address of how many objects here? 5 objects. So this is the address of first object. This is the address of second object. This is the address of third object. And this is the address of fourth object. And this is the address of what? Fifth object. So this is pointing to the list having, okay, different objects here. So this is pointing to the list having different objects here. So you have a different types of objects here. So this object value is a 10 and this object value is a 20. So object value is 10 and this object value is a 20. And this object value is a 30. and this object value is a 40 here. The value of this object is 40, and the value of this object is what here? 50. Okay, assume that the address what it hold is some 1000, and this address is 2000, and this address is 3000, and this address is 4000, and this address is 5000. Assume that. Then this is having the address of first object. This is having the address of second object, third object. Assume that these are the addresses. Assume that these are addresses. Okay, assume that these are addresses. Okay, now each one is having address of one object. Okay, now this is a list one. Okay, this is list one. List one is having how many objects here? 5 objects. List one is having 5 objects. So what will happen if I try to create a copy? If I'm writing list 2 equal to list 1 dot copy. If I say list 2 equal to list 1 dot copy. So copy method of list. Copy method of list is here. S is nothing but sequence. Sequence is nothing but list. Okay. So create a shallow copy. This will create which copy here? Shallow copy. So what will happen in shallow copy is it will create another list. What will happen in shallow copy is it will create another list. So what is this another list here? List 2. What is this another list here? List 2. List 2 is created by copying addresses. List 2 is created by copying which one here? Addresses. So it will copy the address of the first object. It will copy the address of which one? Second object. So it will copy the address of third object. It will copy the address of fourth object. It will copy the address of what? Fifth object. So what happened here? Is it copied the objects, or is it copied the address of objects? Address of objects. It means, is it both the list are pointing to the same objects or different objects? Same objects. So is it create the copy of this objects here? No, it's not created copy of this objects. But it is created list by just copying which one? Addresses. So what is the first object address? 1000. What is the second object address? 2000. What is the third object address? 3000. What is the fourth object address? 4000. What is the next object address? 5000. So is it copied the values or addresses? Addresses. So what will happen? Suppose if I'm doing changes using list 1, the changes will reflect toward list 2. If I'm doing changes using list 2, the changes will reflect toward list 1. So because both are holding the same object or different objects, same object. Both are holding same objects or different objects, same object. So if you do changes using one list, that changes will reflect toward another list. If you do changes using one list, that changes will reflect to another list. But this is only for mutability, right? If you do changes in one list, that changes will reflect toward another list when if the object held by this list is mutable. If this object is mutable, if I'm doing changes using list 1, that changes will reflect toward list 2. If I'm doing changes using list 1, that changes will reflect toward list 2. When if it is mutable. So integer is mutable or immutable? Immutable. So can I do changes in this object using list 1, list 2? No. Okay, if it is mutable and if you're trying to do changes by using list 1, that changes will reflect toward list 2. If it is immutable, no. Okay, suppose, for example, assume that if you see this, yes, if you see the example here, okay, I try to create a list 1 having some 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. And I'm trying to say list 2 equal to list 1 dot copy. So I try to print list 1 and I try to print what? List 2. I try to print list 1 and list 2, right? So how many values are there in list 1? 5 values. How many values are there in list 2? 5 values. Suppose if I'm trying to say ID of list 1 of 0, ID of list 1 of 0 and ID of list 2 of which one? 0. So is it this both? Is it both the list are holding the same address of object or different objects? Same address. Okay, but even though integer is immutable, right? So I cannot do any changes. Okay, this integer, can you modify this integer object? No, because integer is mutable or immutable? Immutable. So suppose if the list is having mutable objects, suppose list 3 equal to within the list, I write one list. Within the list, I write one list. So what is the first element in the list? List only. What is the first element in the list? Integer. What is the first element in the list? List. And this list is having how many values? Two values. Two values, now 30. Okay. So I'm saying list 4. I'm saying list 4 equal to list 3 dot copy. Now this will create a copy of the list or not? Yes. But copy method will create which copy of the list? Shallow copy. It means it will create another list, but not creating the object's copy, but it will just copy which one? Addresses. Now I'll try to print the address of first element. What is the first element in the list? List. What is the first element in the list? List. This is the address of this list and ID of list 4 of which one? 0. Is it both are holding the same list or different list? Same list. So the address of first element is this. And the same address is held by which one? List 4. For example, if I'm doing changes, for example, list 3 of 0. What is list 3 of 0? Is list or not? What is list 3 of 0? List. List 3 of 0 is list. Inside this list, I'm trying to add one value. Inside this list, I try to add one value. Means I try to do changes by using which one? List 3. If I say print list 3, if I say print list 3, there is one new element added in this list. Okay, but if I print list 4, is it that changes reflect to list 4 or not? Yes. So it means in shallow copy, if the changes are done by using one list, that changes will reflect toward another list. If the changes are done using one list, that changes will reflect to another list. For example, if I'm removing it, list 3 of 0 dot remove. So what is list 3 of 0? List 3 of 0. What is 0 here? List only. From this list, I'm removing element 99. Then I say print list 3. Print list 3. Now this is list 3. Okay. 99 is removed. Now if I say print list 4, is it that is done from list 4 also or not? Yes, because both are holding the same address. Suppose if I'm saying list 4 of 0 dot append. Okay, I try to add it using list 4. You can see print list 4, print list 4 and print list 3. So the changes done using list 4, the changes will reflect to which one? List 3 also. So in application development, you want to create a copy. You want to create a copy of the list, but you want to create a copy in a such a way that if you do changes in one list, you want that changes to be reflect toward another list. Then you go for which one? Shallow copy. Then you go for shallow copy. This is what here, shallow copy. So shallow copy is nothing but a reference copy. Shallow copy is nothing but which one? Reference copy. Reference copy where it will try to copy the reference, means address of objects exist in one list. Address of objects exist in one list inside what? Another list. address of objects exist in one list, inside what here? Another list. So that is done by using which one here? Shallow copy. But assume that in my application, I don't want, if changes to be done in one list, if the changes are done in one list, I want that changes should not be reflect to what? Another list. If changes are done in one list, I don't want that changes to be reflect to what? Another list. If changes are done in one list, I don't want that changes to be reflect to what? Another list. Then I'll go for another copy, which is called as what? Deep copy. Okay, deep copy is there. So there is one more copy. And what is it? Another copy is deep copy. But for doing this deep copy, now most of the times in application, yes, you try to use deep copy because if you do changes in one list, because if you do changes in one list, that changes will not reflect toward another list. If you do changes using one list, okay, that changes will not reflect toward here another list, and that you call it as which one? Deep copy. That is called as a deep copy. So in deep copy, yeah, there is a deep copy here. In deep copy, so deep copy create copy of each object. Deep copy create a new list. Create a new list by copying, okay, by copying objects of one list inside another list. So deep copy create a new list. Deep copy create a new list. Okay, new list by copying. Okay, by copying objects of one list. By copying objects of one list, deep copy create a new list by copying objects of one list inside what? Another list. By copying the objects of one list inside what? Another list. Means it will create a new object and then copy that object from one list to what? Another list. Means there is no link between these two objects. There is no link between these two objects. So if you do changes in one list, that changes will not reflect toward another list. So most of the times you'll try to use which one? Deep copy. Most of the times you'll be using which one here? Deep copy. Suppose I created list with how many objects here? 3 objects. What is the first object here? 10. What is the second object? 20. And there is a third object which is 30. Right? Now this is a list. Okay, assume that this is a list. This list is having address of how many objects? 3 objects. Okay, this list is having address of how many objects? 3 objects. So how many objects hold by this list? 3 objects. You can say this object is 10 and this object is 20 and this object is what? 30. So how many objects are there here? 3 objects. Now you can take this is 1000 and this is 2000 and this is what? 3000. So this is 1000 and this is 2000 and this is what here? 3000. Now I want to create a copy. Which type of copy I want to create? Deep copy. So you cannot do deep copy directly. To perform deep copy, you are using one module called copy. There is one module. What is the name of the module? Copy. And copy module provide one function called deep copy. Copy dot deep copy on which list? List 1. Okay, you'll try to say list 1. And this will create a copy of the list and assign to which one? List 2. So there is one function. Okay, but copy method of list will create which copy? Shallow copy. But if you want to perform deep copy, you are trying to use one module. What is the name of the module you are using? Copy. And copy module will provide one function called which one? Deep copy. And this function will create a copy of which list? List 1. But how it will create the copy of the list here? Now if you see, it will create another list. It will create another list. Okay. This is which one here? List 1. This is a list 1 here. So this is list 1. And it will create a copy of the list not by copying addresses, but rather than it will create a new object. What it will do is it will create one new object. It will create one new object. It will not copy the same address of same object, but rather than it will try to create a new object. Rather than it will try to create what here? New object. New object will be created. Assume that this object value is 10. This object value is at 20. And this object value is what? 30. Assume that these objects are having different addresses. Assume that this is 4,000 and this address is 5,000 and this address is what? 6,000. Means is it having address of same object or different object? Different objects. So it will create a copy. See, shallow copy is just like a mirror. So there will be same object. You can see inside what? Mirror. But whereas here you have a same objects or two different objects, two different objects. So if I'm doing changes using list 1, that changes will applicable to only list 1. And if I'm doing changes to the list 2, that changes will applicable to only list 2. Because is it created new objects or same object address, new objects, but it's not copied the same object address. But if you're talking about this integer, right? Is it integer is mutable or immutable? Immutable. Because of that, this object is shareable, right? So even though if you are creating a deep copy, it will copy the same address. But try to take mutable objects so that you can find the difference between shallow copy and what? Deep copy. Let us see this. So here it will not copy the address of objects. Okay, but it will create a new. It will not copy the address of objects, but it will try to create a new objects and then copy it. It will try to create a new objects and then copy it. And that you can call it as which one? Deep copy. Let us see this one. Suppose assume that list 1 is there. Within list 1, there is one list. So I'm taking mutable objects. Okay. Because if it is immutable, you cannot do any changes and you don't find any difference. Okay, you don't find any difference. So the objects which are there inside the list is mutable. If you do changes in one list, that changes you can see in what? Another. If it is a shallow copy. If you do changes in one list, you cannot do changes. You cannot see that ruffle changes in another list. If it is which copy? Deep copy. Now list 2 equal to list 1 dot. But before that, I have to import one module. What is that module I import? Copy. And there is a list 2 equal to list 1. There is a list 2 equal to copy dot. What is this copy here? Deep copy. Copy dot deep copy of which one here? List 1. Copy dot deep copy of list 1. List 2 equal to what I'm writing here? List 2 equal to copy dot deep copy of list 1. Okay. Now if you see this, this is a list 1. This is a list 1 and this is what here? List 2. See the ID of list 1 of 0. Element, first element address. Okay. List 1 first element address and this is list 1. List 2 first element address. So this is list 1 first element address and this is list 2 first element address. Is it address of Is it address of this both are same or different? Different. Because is it copied the address of same object or created new object? Created new object. So what will happen if I do changes? List 1 of 0 dot append 99 and this will be added only in list 1. But is it that changes will reflect to list 2? No, because these are two different objects, right? Suppose if I'm saying L2 of 0 dot remove, okay, I remove one element from list 2. This is the element removed from list 2. Is it that changes will reflect to list 1? No, because it is not a shallow copy. It is which one? Deep copy. So deep copy, if any changes in one list, yes. So if you don't want that changes to be reflect to another, yeah, you go for which copy here? Deep copy. Okay, you'll try to use deep copy here, right? This is how you are trying to perform the operations. So there are two types of copies. One is called as a shallow copy, and there is one more copy which is called as what? Deep copy. So there is a, yes, there is internship, data science, machine learning with project. Okay, internship in IT companies facilitated by Naresh IT, right? Data science, machine learning with projects. So what will be covered in this course is Python for data science, statistics, data analysis, machine learning, some 20 algorithms they'll teach you, and some mock interviews and resume building, and 500 plus interview questions, and 8 real-time projects and 1 capstone project, Microsoft certification in Python, TCS Ion in, yes, maybe some certification, analytics certification guidance. All this will be covered as a part of your course. Okay. And the new batch start from 15th June, 10:30 a.m. New batch starts from 15th June, 10:30 a.m. Those are interested, they can attend. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. So internship in IT companies facilitated by Naresh IT, right? So those who are interested in doing internship, okay, data science, machine learning with projects. Okay. Then you can join this course and duration of this course is some 45 days. Duration of this course is 45 days, right? Huh? Paid. Okay, now that is the difference between deep copy and shallow copy. Now this is a, I said no, this question is asked frequently. What is the difference between deep copy and what is it shallow copy? Now you find different definitions for this. Yes, you find different definitions for this of deep copy and one more is what? Shallow copy. So this both are same here, original list and copy list. So here in shallow copy, the original list and original list and copy list will have the same thing, right? Shallow copying is a process of copying a reference to an object and storing it in a new variable or new list. But whereas in deep copy, so it will try to create two different lists. This is original list and this is what here? Copy list. If you do changes here, the changes will not be done here, right? If you do changes here, the changes will not be reflected in what? Copy list, right? Now this is where you find a difference between deep copy and what is that? Shallow copy. Now you can see different pictures here. The difference between deep and what is that? Shallow copy. Okay, some difference is there here. So this is done by using copy module. Yeah, this is done by using which one here? Copy module. So there is a copy module, right? So there is a copy module. With the help of this copy module, so there is a copy module. Using this copy module, you can able to perform these operations like deep copy and shallow copy. Okay, now this is some differences. So process of constructing a new collection object and then populating it with references to the child objects found in the original, right? Process of constructing a collection of object and then recursively populating it with the copies of the child objects found in the original does not recurse and it does not create copies of the child objects themselves. Create a complete independent clone of the original object and all of its children. Shallow copy is not recursive, but deep copy is what here? Recursive, because I said no, it will try to create the copy of the objects. It will try to create the copy of the objects. Now this is where you find the differences between the deep copy and what? Shallow copy. Now let us see other methods of list here. So let us see other methods of list after this copying here. Now there are other methods of list. These are called mutable methods like extend we have seen. There is a method called reverse here, reversing the list. Recursive means repetition of the objects. Recursively means if there is a list inside a list, you create a list, inside a list you have another list, then recursively it will create a copy of the objects, but rather than just copying which one? Reference. Just copying which one? Reference. That is what you mean by recursive. Recursive means repetition. Recursive means repetition. Okay. Right. Recursively it will copy means if you see this right. Now inside this list, for example, this is one list. Okay, this is one list, and inside this list, there is another list. And inside this list, there is what? Another list. Okay, this is the first element of this list is a list. And the first element of this list is also what here? List. So recursively, it will create a copy of which one here? List and their objects. When it is working with which copy? Deep copy. But whereas this shallow copy just not create objects of the container, the objects of container is not created, but rather than just copy which one? Addresses. Rather than just copy which one addresses, okay, that you can call it as which one? Shallow copy, right? So there is another method which is called as a reverse. Reverse method, reverse method is there. This reverse method will reverse the list. Reverse method is reverse the list in place. If you want to reverse, you can also do it by using slicing. You can also do it by using what? Slicing. You can also do it by using slicing. So there is a list contains some values. And if you want to reverse it, L1 dot, what is this here? Reverse. You can see the elements of the L1 are reverse. L1 elements are what here? Reverse. If you want, you can do this. L1 equal to L1 of colon minus 1. Okay, colon minus 1. And this is also reverse it. So after reversing, it is 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. I did again reversing. Now it is done from 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So reversing can be done without using a reverse method. You can simply use which one? Slicing. You can also use slicing to reverse the elements of which one? List. Okay. And there is a repetition. There is one repetition method is there. And this is called as repetition. If you want to repeat one list number of times, if you want to repeat a list, okay, number of times you can repeat it. If you want to repeat the list number of times, you can repeat it by using star and equal. Star. Now you can repeat a list or a sequence number of times using which operator? Star operator. There is a list contain 1, 2, 3. And I'm trying to say L1 or L2 equal to L1 into some 3. So what is the list 1 is having? 1, 2, 3. What is L2 is having? 1, 2, 3, which is repeated how many times? 3 times. I said this in the beginning. If you want to repeat one sequence number of times, you can use which operator? Star. Repetition of one sequence number of times. You can also use L1 star equal. Star equal is nothing but updation. Okay, star equal is nothing but updation. You are updating the list by repeating these elements how many times? 5 times. You are updating the list one by repeating these elements how many times? 5 times. Now that you can call it as star equal. So star equal is nothing but L1 equal to L1 into 5. So repeat L1 5 times and update within the same list. So that is called as which operator here? Updation operator. Updation operator. So all these are which operations here? Mutable operations. Mutable means where you can do the changes. Where you can do the changes like updating, deleting, inserting, okay, removing and adding one element, adding more than one element. Now, all these are done by using different methods or different approaches. Okay, even we have seen how can you sort it by using which one? Sort. So sort is a mutable or immutable? Mutable, because whenever you do the sort, the sorting of the same list is done or not? Yes. But if you want the sorting should be done in another list, you don't want the changes to be done in the list, then you can go for one function called sorted. There is one function called which one? Sorted. So what is the difference between sort and sorted? What is the difference between the sort and sorted? Okay, sort is a method of the list. Sort is a method of list. Method is also function, but it is a member function. Sort is a member function of a list. What is a sort here? Is a member function of list. See here, assume that this is a class. What is the name of the class? In the beginning I said, what is the name of the class? Robo. Robo is having one method called which one? Walk. So walk is a method of which one? Robo. Run is a method of which one? Robo. Now robo is having how many methods? Two methods. One is a walk and one more is a run. I create a robo by saying R1 equal to robo. Which object I created? A robo object. I want to make a robo 1 to walk. Then I'll say R1 dot. I'll say R1 dot walk. I'll say R1 dot run. I'm writing here R1 dot walk. I'm writing here R1 dot run. So you are making robo 1 should walk. You are making robo 1 should what? Run. Okay. So walk and run methods of which one? Robo. In the same way, there is a class. What is the name of the class? List. Every class is a data type. And list class is having functions like which one? Insert. List is having a method called which one? Append. List is having a method called which one? Remove. List is having a method called which one? Reverse. List is having a method called which one? Sort. All these are belongs to which one here? List. I'm creating a list object by saying list 1 equal to list. And if you want to append, you are saying list 1 dot append. If you want to remove, you'll say list 1 dot remove. Okay, dot is for accessing which function of the list? Remove function. Append dot is for accessing which function of the list? Append. The functions which are there inside the class are called which one? Methods. These are called methods. These are called methods. These are called member functions. These are called methods. These are called methods. These are called as which one? Member functions. Because these are the functions which are the member of which class? These are the functions which are members of which class? List class. So because of that, you can call these functions as which one? Member functions. And the same thing are called methods. For example, if I'm writing only function, suppose there is a function called which one? Max. There is a function called max. Is it this function is there inside any class? Or you write this function inside a class, or is it individual? Individual. Then will you call this as a function or member function? Will you call this as a function or member function? Function. This is called as a function. If you write this function inside a class, then it becomes what? Member function. So member functions are bind with what? Data type. Member functions are bind with what? Data type. Insert, append, remove, reverse, sort are bind with which one? List. These are the operations which do on which one? List. But max is an individual function or not? Yes. This can work with any data type. These functions can work with any data type, but these functions are used only with which data type? List data type, because these are the members of which type? List type. Now these are the functions of which one here? Robo. I can call these functions only on which one? Robo. I can call these functions only on which type? List type. But max function can call with any type or not? Yes. Why? Because is it this function is a member of any data type? No. Is it this function is a member of any data type? No. So sort is a method of list, but sorted is what? Function. Sort is a method of list, but sorted is what here? Function. One difference is sorted. Sorted is which one? Function. Sorted is a function, but sort is a member function of which class? List class or list data type. List class or list data type. Okay, it means I can call this sort method using only which data type? List data type. But sorted can be called on any data type. Sorted can be called on any data type. Okay, sorted can be called on what? Any data type. Sorted can be called on any data type, right? Sorted can be called on any data type. Okay, sorted can be called on any data type. Okay, now. So which doesn't provide which method? Sort method. which doesn't have a sort method, I can call it by using which function? Sorted function. For example, tuple is there. Tuple doesn't have a method called sort. Tuple doesn't have a method called what? Sort. Then how can you sort the elements of tuple? By using function called what? Sorted. Suppose string doesn't have a method called sort. Then how can I sort the elements of the string? By using which function? Sort function. Okay. So the data types which doesn't provide sort, because sort is a mutable, right? Sort is a mutable, but string is which one? Immutable. String is immutable and tuple is also immutable. Then how can you sort the immutable collections? By using which function? Sorted function. By using which function? Sorted function. What is your name? Admin only. Okay. What is your name here? Admin. Admin. When you're admin, you're admin of Naresh IT. Huh? What your name here? Your name is admin. From when you are doing this job? From when you are doing this job here? Admin. You're administrator of your Naresh IT or what? Or speak out here. Huh? You want to become software engineer or Naresh IT admin? Huh? What here? You have your name, huh? You don't have your name. You have your name or you don't have your name? Admin. ఏం మాట్లాడతావా మాట్లాడవా? ఏం మాట్లాడతలేడు అడ్మిన్. అడ్మిన్ మాట్లాడమ్మా అడ్మిన్. తీసేసేయాలన్నా లేకుంటే దీంట్లో నుంచి? అడ్మిన్ తీసేస్తున్నా నిన్ను. సారీ, నువ్వు అడ్మిన్ కాబట్టి నిన్ను తీసేస్తా దీంట్లో నుంచి. ఏమంటావు? తీసేయాలన్నా ఉంటావా? రిపోర్ట్ చేసిందంటే ఇక నువ్వు మళ్ళీ లాగిన్ కాలేవు. చెప్పు, ఉంటావా పోతావా? అడ్మిన్, యూ వాంట్ టు స్టే ఆర్ యూ వాంట్ టు లీవ్? If I say report, right, you cannot log in again. You cannot attend my batch. You cannot attend my batch. We'll change the name. We'll change the name, admin. Edwin. Edwin Levy. You are talking to me, sir. Who? What is your name? But who is this admin? Who's admin? Your name is different, right? This admin also there, right? Who's admin? Your name is different, right? Meeting room like helping an admin. Okay, you have to log in with your names, right? Why admin Pavan Kalyan? Yes, you have to log in with your names. Log in with your names. Don't log in with admins. You are not admin of Naresh IT, right? Okay, sorted function. Actually, sorted function is immutable. because sorted function will return a new sorted list. New sorted list, but sort will sort same list. The changes will be done in the same list, but sorted will return one new list. You don't want you don't want the original list to do some changes, right? For example, I create one list with some values. I create a list with some values, and these values are random, right? So 4 and 3, 5, like this. There are some values here. Okay, now if I'm writing list one dot sort, is it changes are done in the same list or not? Yes, because sort is a method of a list. Okay, list one, original list gets sorted in which order? Ascending order. Suppose I create another list. I create another list with the same elements, but I don't want the original list to be modified. I don't want the original list to be sorted. I want the sorting should be done in what? Another list. After sorting, I want the elements to be stored in what? Another list or new list. Then I'll try to write here list 3 equal to sorted. Now I'm not using dot because dot is for accessing member function. Dot is for accessing what? Member function. But is it sorted is a member function or function? Function. Member of a class. If it is a member of a class, you call with what name? Object name. Complex number 1 dot real. Complex number 1 dot imaginary. You are accessing the real value of complex number 1. You are accessing the imaginary value of complex number 1. In the same way, list 1 dot append. You are calling which function of append? List function of append to append the elements of what? List. But sorted is not a member function, it is a function. Which one you want to sort it? List 2. Okay, list 2, and you can see this is a list 2. Is it any changes in list 2? No, but changes are done in what? List 3. Is it sorted in which order? Ascending order. But changes are not done in the same list, but the changes are done in what? New list. Now, this is also helpful. For example, if you are working with the strings, okay, strings are there. Now, what is a string here? Python. I want to arrange the characters in which order? Ascending order. I want to arrange the characters of this string in which order? Ascending order. Then str1 dot. Is it any method called sort of string? No, because string is a mutable or immutable? Immutable. String is not mutable. String is what? Immutable. Okay, string is not mutable. String is which one here? Immutable. String is not mutable. String is a immutable. So you cannot do any changes. You cannot do any changes, right? You cannot do any changes. Okay. Then how can I sort the elements of this? How can I sort the elements of this? By using what I'll say? str2 equal to sorted. Sorted of which one? str1. Sorted of which one? str1. If you say print str1 and print what? str2. Is it this string characters are sorted or not? Yes. What is the first one? Hash. Second one is N, O, P, T, and one more is Y. But string doesn't have sort method. So immutable objects doesn't have, what I meant to tell you is, immutables doesn't have a sort method. So those objects will be sorted, those collections will be sorted by using which function? Sorted function. So that is the difference between the sort and one more is what? Sorted. That is the difference between the sort and sorted, right? Yes. Then next one is, that is the difference between a sort and sorted. Then lot of functions which you can apply on the list. Okay. So these are the functions which you can apply on the list, or these are other functions which are common functions. Okay, these are some common functions which are called as length, minimum, and one more is what? Maximum. Yes, length, minimum, maximum, right? These are other functions. Index of, and one more is a count. So these are other functions which you can apply. Okay, these are other functions which you can apply on the list. These are other functions which you can apply on the list. Okay. These are other functions like length of the list, minimum smallest item of the sequence. Sequence is nothing but what here? List, tuple, string, all this comes under which one? Sequences. Maximum, all these are not methods. All these are what? Functions. All these are what? Functions. The length of the sequence, minimum of the sequence, maximum of the sequence, finding the index and counting how many times a given element is there in the list. All this you are doing it by using this particular functions. Now, if you see these functions, for example, list one is there. List one is there with some values here, some randomly some values here. Okay. I want to know what is the length of the list. I'll say length of list one. How many values are there in the list? Five values. If I want to know what is the maximum value of the list, I can use maximum. I can say minimum of the list, that will return minimum. I'll say list, count of list. Count is a method. Okay, it is a method. List one dot count. I want to know how many times this element 10 is there. How many times the element 10 is there? Only one time. So what is the count of the list here? One. Count of the list is a one. And if you want to know the index of a specific element, you can find the index of a specific element by using one method called index of. So list one dot index of, index of. So index of, I want to know what is the index of some 30. What is the index of 30 here? 2. So this index of 30 is a 2. Now this is 0, this is 1, and this is what? 2. Now these are some other methods which you can apply on which one? List. These are other methods which can be applied on which one? List. Okay. Yes. These are other methods which you can apply on the list. List. Try to understand how you are working on the list. See these many examples, right? I said so many examples, methods related list. List related methods, list related methods, list related methods, and how you are trying to do. But list is not over. A lot of things are there related with which one? List. List practical questions, 90 plus practice questions. What do you mean by list in Python? List is which data type? Tell me, list is which data type? Sequence data type. The elements in the list can be of any type or fixed type, any type. Okay. Elements in the list are enclosed inside what? Elements in the list are enclosed inside what? Square brackets. Values in the list are called which one? Items or elements or values, anything, right? List are heterogeneous or homogeneous? Heterogeneous. List is what data type? Linear or non-linear? Linear. Elements in the list are separated by comma. Write a code to create an empty list. Okay. You are creating empty list by using empty square brackets, or you can use a list. Write a code to create a list of any 3 colors, right? This is how you are writing it. What do you mean by nested list? We need to talk about this. Nested list, that is nothing but list inside a list. If you are writing a list inside a list, that you can call it as what? Nested list. List inside a list is called as a nested list. Now write the code to create a list of 5 vegetables, vowels, first 10 what? natural numbers, squares of first 5 natural numbers. Okay, first 10 natural numbers, squares of first 5. Okay, any 5 names of your friends, all the alphabets of the word Taj Mahal, first 5 multiples of what? 6. Okay, now first 5 vegetables is very simple. You write in square bracket all the vegetables and vowels and first 10 natural numbers. You can use a range. You can use what? Range. And squares of first 5 natural numbers. Squares of means what do you do it? You create one empty list. You create one empty list here and use for n in range of 1 comma 1 comma what? 6. 1 comma 6. This will generate how many values? 1 to 5. Then list 1 dot append n to the power of 2. List 1 dot append n to the power of 2. List 1 is having squares of how many numbers? 5 numbers. That is 1. 1 to the power of 2 is 1. 2 to the power of 2 is a 4. And 3 to the power of 2 is what? 9. And 4 to the power of 2 is a 16. And 5 to the power of 5 is what? 25. Okay, in the same way, any 5 names and all the alphabets of the word, first 5 multiples of 6. First 5 multiples of what? 6. I need to generate first 5 multiples of which one? 6. It means you need to add all the values which are multiples of which one? 6. It's nothing but mod. Okay, mod of that number is equal to what? 0. Mod of that number is equal to what? 0. How you write it? List 2. List 2 is which list here? Empty list. And then I said number equal to 1. Number equal to 1 and count is start from where? 0. And I'm saying while true. While true means this is which loop? Infinite loop. This is infinite loop. And if number mod 6 double equal to what? 0. Then you add this number inside what? You add this number inside what? List. Okay, you add this number inside what? List. Okay, you add this number inside a list. 6 colon 6 colon how many elements? Only first 6. Only first 6. That will give infinite. Okay. So what is the end? What is the end of that list? Range 6 colon. What is that? Range 6 colon 6. 6 colon 6 is invalid syntax here. That syntax is wrong. That syntax is wrong. Okay, right? Then after that you are saying count is there. Count plus equal to 1. If count is equal to how much here? 6. Then you are trying to terminate it by using which statement? Break. Okay, break. Otherwise, you are saying number equal to number plus 1. So you are taking the help of next number. You are taking the help of which one here? Next number. Now this is list 2 is having 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 and 36. Right? You can write like this. You can write like this. Okay. Yes. Yeah, you can write like this or you can simply write like this also. List 2 or list 3 equal to list of range of what you can do 6 comma what is this 37 comma 6. Okay, 6 comma 37 comma 6. How many values are generated here? 6 values. Now all these are multiples of 6 or not? Yes. Okay, you can write like this. In one statement also you can write it, or you can write in multiple statements also. You can write in one statement, you can also write in what? Multiple statements. You can write in one statement or multiple statements. Now this is First 10, squares of first 5 natural numbers. This is first 5 natural numbers, right? Squares of, and this is second one. But second one you can do using different approaches. Okay, first 5 multiples of 6. So first 5 multiples of what? 6. This is first 5 multiples of 6, like this. Okay, yes. Okay, no problem. These are simple things. You can do it. Okay. Yes. This is slicing. So what do you mean by traversing? I think we have seen this, right? Okay. Now here, now there is some operators which you can apply on the list. There is some operators which you can apply on the list, like double equal operator, greater than, not equal. Okay. So there is equal, and there is double equal, and there is greater than, there is less than, and there is not equal, and there is a plus operator. You can apply on which one? List. So there are some operators which you can apply on the list. See, what do you mean by concatenation in list? What do you mean by concatenation? Combining two lists, right? How can you do that combining? By using which operator? Plus operator. By using which operator? Plus operator. Which mathematical operator is used to concatenate the list? Plus operator. Plus operator is used for concatenating the list. Okay. Can we multiply two lists by using star? No. You cannot multiply two lists. Okay. You cannot multiply two lists. What is the index value of the first element in the list? 0. What is the index value of the last element in the list? -1. What is the difference? Write one difference between indexing and what? Slicing. Index for reading one value and slicing is more than one value. The syntax of slicing is list start stop step. Which argument is optional out of start, stop, and step? Generally, which argument is optional? Step. But is it all these are optional or not? Yes. All are optional, but by default, it will take the step as a 1, right? Step as a 1. Now, this is slicing. Practice questions of list Python. What is the outputs of all these things? Print A. What is A? Practice questions of list in Python. Print length of A. It will print the length of this. You have to see 22 questions are there. If you do this 22, right, you can understand slicing. If you do this 22, you can understand what? Slicing. So in the first print A of 1:4. So 1 is a start and 4 is what? Stop. In the second thing, A of 1:7. 1 is a start and 7 is a stop. And A of 3:3 is what here? Start. But is it stop is given? No. So print :5. :5 means is the start is given? No. But which one is given? Stop. And here start and stop is given. -2 is a start, -5 is a stop, and -1 is what? Step. 1 is a start and 7 is stop, and 1 is a step. 1 is a start and 7 is a stop, and 2 is a step. -5 is a start. -5 is which one? Start. And then what is the default step? 1. So -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, like that. If you practice this 22 questions are there, no? Then you can understand slicing. Slicing, right? So write a code to make a copy of the list using copy function. What you'll do it? A dot which one? Copy. A dot copy or copy dot copy. Anything you can do it. What do you mean by append function? Append function will add at the end of the list or not? Yes, adding element into the list. Write the output of the following: A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and A dot append 7. 7 will be added where? At the end of the list. So what is the A now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Okay, write the output of the following: A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and A dot append. What you are trying to append here? List. You're appending one list inside a list. Okay, you're appending one list inside a list. So what is A contain? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 7, 8. So 7, 8 is added as individual or as a list? As a list. As a list. 7, 8 is added as a list. Okay, yes. Write a program to create the following. Take input from user. Any 5 students name, any 5 numbers, any 5 alphabets, any 5 names of colors. You have to input inside a list. Using which method? Append method. So write a program to accept 10 numbers from user. If number is odd, add that number into which number list? Odd number list. If it is even, you should add into which list? Even numbers list. That is what we have seen already. Write a program to find the largest number of the following list. You can apply. See, you can see what is this is saying that without using inbuilt function. But already there is one function to find the maximum, right? How can you find the maximum? By using which function? Max function. How can you find the maximum? By using which function? Max function. And if you want to find out without using maximum is, you have to take one element and compare with what? Next element. We have seen this also, right? So write a program to find the second largest number of the list. So this is nothing but runner up. Explain the extend function with the example. Extend. Append will add only one value, but extend will add what? More than one value. Append will add only one value, but extend will add more than one value. Write any one difference between insert and append. Append will add at the end of the list, but insert can be used to add anywhere within the list. So insert required index, but append doesn't require what? Index. So you have to take these questions, right? So I'm just copying this link here. Okay, how many papers are there here? How many test papers you have is 9 are there. 9 into 10. Some 90 questions are there. How many questions are there? 90 questions are there. 90 questions in this. And if you see this one, right, you can also, you have to practice here. Otherwise, completing is not a big task. I said, no, completing course. Somebody will ask like when the course is completed. Completing course is not, okay, very big task, right? If you sit for one day, I'll complete the course. But after that, what you learn means nothing. After that, what you learn means nothing, right? Okay. Now you can take some problems from Hacker Rank also. Take the problems from Hacker Rank also, right? Okay. Learn the subject. Learn the subject. I'm giving you subject. Now learn it so that it will be helpful to get the job. Okay. It is helpful in getting what? Job. Rather than just completing the course. What do you do it after completing the course if you don't know the subject, right? So complete with full-fledged everything you have to understand, right? So just see this Python. So select here Python finding runner-up score, and next we have to talk nested list, but this is list related problem here. You can see consider a list. You can perform the following commands. What is saying? Consider a list. Which list it is? Empty list. You can perform the following commands. Insert command, print command, remove command, append command, sort command, pop command, and one more is what? Reverse. You have to create one list and you have to execute how many commands on the list? 7 commands. You have to execute how many commands on the list? 7 commands. Insert command, print command, remove command, append command, sort command, pop command, and one more is a reverse. So initialize your list and read n followed by n lines of commands where each command will be of how many types of commands here? 7 types. Iterate through each command in order to perform corresponding operation on your list. So this is the input format, and this is the output. So how many commands I want to execute? 12 commands. And this 12 commands should be in the list of how many commands? 7 commands. You are executing how many commands? 12 commands. And this 12 commands should be in the list of how many commands? 7 commands. So insert, print, remove, append, sort, print, pop, reverse, and what? Print. How many commands are executed on the list? 12 commands. But after doing 12 commands, now this is called as which one? Output. So these are the programs which you have to practice. Okay, practice. Suppose, see, list means people will complete list in one class. List in one class, tuple is one class, set is one class. Okay, dictionary is one class, over. But data structures are very important when it comes to what? Python. Okay, data structures like list, set, dictionaries. Okay, all these are very important because these are very much helpful in application development. Either you are working with Django, you are working with data science, you are working with what? Machine learning. These data structures are very important. But some people, they'll not concentrate on data structures, but they'll try to concentrate on faltu things, right? So I don't want that. So I'm trying to tell you most of the things related with what? Data structures in Python, right? Because they'll be asking questions only on data structures. Okay, if you are very good in this, your advanced Python becomes very easy for you. So try to practice it. Even we'll see some programs in Hackers Rank also, right? Because see, if your people are very hurry in completion, I'll try to complete it. Okay, completing is nothing but I'll try to reduce the number of examples. Okay, now only one thing is I can reduce number of examples and I can complete it. You want that? You want that? No, no. You want to learn everything perfectly or not? Then patience should be there here. If you don't have patience, then how? Right. So we'll see tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we'll see more on list. List is not over. We'll try to see tomorrow nested list, and we'll try to see list comprehensions. Nested list and list comprehensions, right? So tomorrow we'll see. Today we'll stop here, right? Thank you.